Hey everybody, I'm Ben Yee.
I'm Elissa Stein.
And
we're here to talk about the Attorney General primary. So what Ben is going to do is start us off with a little recap about the four candidates.
Sure.
And sort of who they are and what they represent in this race.
Cool.
Ben?
All right, so we've got four candidates. Letitia James, who's the current public advocate of New York, a tried and true politician who's been an effective leader representing folks here down in the city.
And before she was public advocate,
City
she was
council.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
On the WFP line, actually, although she's not on the WFP line for
Interesting.
Attorney General.
Okay.
Zephyr Teachout, an academic, specialty in constitutional law with a focus on corruption. She likes to say she literally wrote the book on corruption, which she did. There's a book by her about corruption in the United States.
Yeah, we could use somebody with that expertise, but I sideline. Okay, the other two.
Yeah, go watch the one about the governor.
Yeah.
3, Sean Patrick Maloney, a congressman currently in the Hudson Valley.
Right.
He's actually running simultaneously for Attorney General and Congress.
Sneaky.
Which has a bunch of people miffed because if he wins this primary and goes on to be Attorney General, he will have to vacate his congressional seat, kicking off a special election in a swing district. So people are not happy about this.
Not cool. Like in this political climate.
And finally, Alicia Eve, who is an incredibly competent attorney who's worked for the governor.
And Joe Biden too, didn't she?
Yeah, well, basically for the government. She's worked for the government and also for, I think, Comcast. So she's a competent corporate lawyer.
She is. And I remember I've seen her speak, and her
family has a history of public service.
She's against, I think, bigger personalities.
Yes, she is currently polling at 1%.
Right.
Sean Patrick Maloney is at 25. Tish James is at 24, and Zephyr is at 18 or something.
Okay. All right. So it's really a pretty close race.
Relatively speaking, yeah.
All right. So, what should people be looking for?
Well, I think it really depends what sort of person you think should occupy the Attorney General's office.
Now, we had talked about before in an earlier episode that it's on purpose that the Attorney General is not appointed by the governor,
Correct.
but is elected by the people.
Right.
So it's really, this is a voice of the constituency.
Right. It's not just a technocrat.
Right. So the political part of that is important because, people these days especially vote for whom they like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a personality contest, which is unfortunate because sometimes the most popular person, not naming names here, but then there are people who come into power who aren't competent. And
right.
To me, especially for a job like this, it's a political job, but it's also more about the law. It's about knowing the Constitution. It's
right.
about knowing what cases can be brought and can be tried. It's
Certainly.
about really figuring out where the corruption is and what can be done. So the politician side isn't necessarily as important, it seems to me, as a real knowledge of the law, of a dogged determination. AG to me is like, it's work. Eric Schneiderman impressed me. He was a great speaker, and before his whole mess, great speaker, passionate about his causes. But I got he was that, but he also knew the law well.
Yes.
He knew where to go. He knew who to go after. I was so impressed every time he brought something up because it's a very intellectual position.
It is a very intellectual position. I will add the last thing I'll say is that the political side of it is also about political independence. Mm-hmm. When they wrote the New York State Constitution, they wanted an attorney general who wasn't beholden to the governor or the legislature. So if you have to be appointed by the governor and approved by the legislature, you're not independent of those bodies. Political independence would ideally mean that you have no problem going after corruption or problems in the legislature, corruption or problems in the executive mansion. And so that is one of the reasons we separate this role out as something that we elect as people.
So I will just say as a last thing that perhaps it's beneficial to have somebody who's not tied into the political scene because they don't owe favors, they aren't part of that political machine process. That perhaps sometimes it's good to have an attorney general who is removed from all of that and is looking at it through unbiased eyes.
An interesting point of view.
Interesting point of view. All right, with that interesting point of view, don't forget, Thursday, September 13th, you got to go vote.
Vote!
Find out your polling place, 6 in the morning till 9 at night.
Mm-hmm.
This matters. I will say it again and again, primaries matter. We're deciding on Thursday who's going to be in the general election in November. So it's up to us. We make this happen. There are really viable, interesting candidates out there. We decide who's going to move forward. So people, go vote.
Go vote and bring your friends.
Yeah. Whether you like them or not, just bring everybody.
Right. Later.
See ya.
Hey, if you like what you're seeing here, don't forget to share, like, and comment on these videos.
The more people that hear what we have to say, perhaps the more they'll get involved. So thank you so much from us to you and all our new followers.
Thanks for watching.